very warm welcome to this special edition of Rajya Sabha Television Question Hour, where we get you important questions of the last Parliament session. And joining me is my colleague Vishal. Dhaiya.
Well, thank you, Kriti. And just like all other weeks, this week as well, we will bring you some important questions and their answers as well, which have been given on the floor of the House by the government. So let's begin with one question from Member Harivansh, who is now the Deputy Chairman of the Upper House. He goes on to ask the government whether it is a fact that banks are financially in weak position owing to NPA accounts.
Well, the government has given a very comprehensive answer, and the government says that banks are positioned strongly in terms of their deposit base, diversified credit growth, healthy and improving net interest margin and substantial capital base. As per RBI data, as on 20th July 2018, scheduled commercial banks had aggregate deposits of 114.38 lakh crore rupees, which was 32.8% more than their aggregate credit, reflecting customer confidence and a strong fund base. This is being deployed for diversified credit growth of 12.4% year-on-year basis. Moving on to the next question, and this one has been asked by member Rajiv Chandrasekhar, and he has asked about the amount and percentage of gross non-performing assets in banks due to delayed or stalled infrastructure projects.
Well, the government gives a detailed answer to this question as well, and it says that as per the provisional data available with the Reserve Bank of India at the end of financial year 2017-18, amount and percentage of gross non-performing assets in banks in industry infrastructure sector was 2,743 crore and 18.89% respectively. Government has taken various steps to expedite delayed projects. These include setting up a project monitoring group for fast-tracking approvals for projects, sector-specific inter-ministerial groups for addressing systemic issues affecting viability and repayment capacity of projects, one-time fund infusion for completion of delayed languishing road projects, release of 75% of arbitral award amount against bank guarantees for revival of construction sector, etc. In addition, enactment of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 has created unified framework that has enabled transparent and time-bound resolution of high-value stressed assets, including delayed and stalled projects. The next question has been asked by two members, Vishal Prasad Nishad and Chaudhary Sukhram Singh Yadav, and they go on to ask whether it is a fact that contrary to the Reserve Bank's guidelines, the chit fund companies or the promoters are offering more dividends to the people on their investment through different tempting schemes like deposit schemes and Ponzi schemes.
The government goes on to say that while chit fund companies registered with respective state governments under the Chit Funds Act 1982 may collect subscriptions to chits, they are prohibited by the Reserve Bank of India from accepting deposits from the public since the year 2009. Further, acceptance of money through money circulation, pyramid structured schemes is banned under the Price Chits and Money Circulation Schemes Banning Act 1978 and is also a cognizable offence. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has during the last 5 years and current year assigned 32 cases involving 2 to 3 companies allegedly engaged in chit fund Ponzi activities to the Serious Fraud Investigation Office for investigation. Moving on to some oral questions now. On the issue of Aadhaar, member Binoy Vishwam questioned the government about the security measures related to the Aadhaar.
The task is to make them Aadhaar, not Niradhar. But the present Aadhaar regime is making them Niradhar.
Right, Minister.
Sir, Sri Krishna Panak has talked about critical information and non-critical information. What's the government approach on this question?
Well, Electronics and Information Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad clarified that Aadhaar contains robust security measures and protects privacy. Let's listen into the minister.
Aadhaar was Niradhar because there was no law earlier to back it up. When we came to power, we gave Aadhaar to the Aadhaar by a proper parliamentary law. Therefore, now there is a proper parliamentary law to back the Aadhaar.
Right.
That's one thing. The second part, Sri Krishna report on data privacy and data law is a draft report. It is in public domain. Let the government, let the stakeholder, let the other people concerned have the widest consultation possible. Consultation has been done in the past, it will be done again. But as far as Aadhaar is concerned, the core biometrics is a very much critical component, completely safe and secure, that even the billionth of the time if you try it will not break up. Sir, I can only say one thing, sir. People have got the right to have an impression about Aadhaar, but today Aadhaar operation has led to empowerment of the poor people and saving of 90,000 crore of public money.
Harivansh, who is the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, asked the Minister if the Aadhaar scheme has helped the beneficiaries of direct cash transfer scheme. Listen in.
कल्याणकारी योजनाओं की जो खुली लूट चलती थी, जिसके बारे में सरकार के एक पूर्व ग्रामीण विकास के पूर्व सचिव ने कहा कि अगर सीधे मनी ऑर्डर से ये राशि गरीबों को भेज दिया तो 10 वर्ष में इनकी गरीबी खत्म हो जाए। राइट। 85 में एक पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि 100 पैसे चलते हैं, 15 पैसे पहुंचते हैं। मेरा सवाल है, इस लूट को रोकने में पहली बार आधार सफल हुआ, ऐसी खबरें आती हैं, और आधार के खिलाफ ऐसे काम में लगे और उनके संरक्षक हर संभव अभियान चला रहे हैं। इससे कितनी बचत हुई है, इसके बारे में मंत्री जी बताएं।
Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad again informed the House that the government has saved over 90 crore rupees in direct cash transfer scheme.
एक डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर कार्यक्रम चलता है जिसमें गरीबों के लिए जो कल्याणकारी योजनाएं हैं, पहल है, बाकी है, ये सबका सब्सिडी का पैसा सीधा गरीबों के बैंक अकाउंट में जाता है। जनधन के 31 करोड़, आधार के 121 करोड़ और बाकी मोबाइल फ़ोन से कनेक्ट कर करके। और जैसा कि मैंने अपने उत्तर में बताया है, 90,012.71 करोड़ रुपए इसमें बचे हैं जो बिचौलिए खा जाया करते थे, जो 56 क्लेम के खा जाया करते थे।
थैंक यू।
Responding to another question by Congress MP Anand Sharma, Ravi Shankar Prasad also asserted that Aadhaar database wasn't hacked to fetch details of prior chairman. Take a listen.
The TRAI chairman made public his Aadhaar card. That was hacked immediately. His bank accounts were tracked and money was deposited in the TRAI chairman's account. So please do not assert. There is need to make it secure. The minister must look into that and explain how it happened.
Sir, as far as that particular case is concerned, the UIDAI gave a public statement that the claim was wrong. And also UIDAI publicly issued an advisory to all concerned, close you don't unnecessarily disclose. We leave footprint, but what is important? Core biometrics. This and iris should never be broken, has not been broken, and we consciously undertake the audit to ensure the security.
Another member, K.C. Ramamurthy, asked if the government is making an attempt to define fake news and amend relevant penal provisions.
I would like to know from the Honourable Minister whether any attempt is made to define fake news and amend relevant penal provisions.
Here's the detailed answer given by Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad. Listen in.
In India, what is important is there needs to have a consensus in the polity and society of the country what is a fake news. Fake news is something which does not require description. Even the existing law, they cannot project something which is false, designed to provoke, designed to instigate to commit crime. And therefore, if you see my reply, I have already taken proactive measures by commanding all the social media platforms. You are welcome to do business in India. India is emerging as a digital power. Fake news, Facebook is the highest presence here, so is WhatsApp. But you have to be accountable. And you must get technological solution which denies people the opportunity to get provoked. And in particular, sir, I have emphasized upon them, you must have a grievance officer here. You must ensure that it is not circulated. I have emphasized upon them, it does not need a rocket science as to how on the same day, on the same issue, in the same state, millions and lakhs of messages are getting circulated. You must get solutions, sir. They have responded. We will be very tough. You do business in India in a fair manner, enlighten, educate, awake. But if this fake news is designed to provoke people to commit crime, plainly not acceptable.
In a supplementary question, member Jaya Bachchan asked the steps taken by the government against cyber crimes.
According to most of the people, this is a cyber crime. And how effective have you been in the measures as you say you have taken?
Right, very good.
Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad informed the House that the government has blocked over 400 Facebook URLs and 321 of Twitter, among others, under Section 69A of the IT Act. Take a listen.
We have blocked 447 of the Facebook, 95 of the YouTube, 321 of Twitter, 41 of Instagram, and the compliance in media in 2018, 17, 18, 2 years I have given. She is absolutely right. It borders on cybercrime. If by abuse of your platform, people are getting provoked and instigated to commit crime, you are also a kind of an abater. You cannot evade your accountability. The response of these has been very, very encouraging. What I am emphasizing is do more. India is emerging digital economy. You are having huge clientele here. Earn money, but be accountable.
BJP MP Vinay Sahasrabudhe asked the steps being taken by the Information and Broadcasting Ministry along with institutions like Press Council to stop the menace of fake news in the country.
जो इंफॉर्मेशन एंड ब्रॉडकास्टिंग मिनिस्ट्री है या प्रेस काउंसिल जैसी संस्थाएं हैं, क्या इन संस्थाओं के साथ कुल मिलाकर फेक न्यूज़ के प्रादुर्भाव को रोकने के विषय में क्या कोई समन्वय बिठाने की दिशा में कोशिश हो रही है?
Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that elimination of fake news is a collective effort and he is writing to all the state chief ministers on the issue. He also said that support of all political parties is needed for the same.
विद्यालयों में, विश्वविद्यालयों में, छात्रों के बीच में, ट्रेड बॉडीज़ के बीच में, मैंने कहा है, मैं मुख्यमंत्रियों को लिख रहा हूं, एक प्रकार से पूरे देश को सर्वानुमति से इस तरह के संक्रामक रोग के खिलाफ खड़ा होने की आवश्यकता है। और मैंने ये भी कहा है कि ये चिंता हमें राजनीतिक विरोध से ऊपर उठकर करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि भारत की डिजिटल क्षमता, जिसमें सबों का सहयोग रहा है, मिलकर काम करने की आवश्यकता है। लेकिन सर, एक बात हमें ध्यान देना पड़ेगा, आज सोशल मीडिया ने आम हिंदुस्तानियों को मजबूत किया है। वो सवाल पूछते हैं, मुझसे भी पूछते हैं, बड़ों से पूछते हैं, संपादकों से भी पूछते हैं। तो इस सवाल पूछने के अधिकार पर कोई चिंता नहीं होनी चाहिए। ये देश के लोकतंत्र का खंभा है।
Moving on to the Health Ministry now, Member Vandana Chavan asked the government whether it has an action plan to increase public health expenditure up to 2.5% till 2025.
Minister Anupriya Patel has given this answer and she says that government has increased the total public health expenditure from 1.49 lakh crore rupees in the year 2014-15 to 2.25 lakh crore rupees in 2017-18 according to the Economic Survey 2017-18. Further, the National Health Policy 2017 envisages raising government health spending to 2.5% of GDP by the year 2025 in a time-bound manner. It also envisages increasing state sector health spending to more than 8% of their budget by the year 2020. Moving on to the Ministry of Power now, and member K.R. Arjunan has asked whether it is a fact that power output rises amid tiff over coal stock.
Power Minister R.K. Singh answered this question by saying that during the current year 2018-19 up to June 2018, the growth in supply of coal from Coal India Limited was around 15%. Now, this has helped in increasing the power output from coal-based power plants. During the first quarter of the current year 2018-19, the growth in thermal generation was 5.69% and the growth in thermal generation from National Thermal Power Corporation power plants was 7.76%.
Time for a short break. Stay tuned. Lots more on the other side.
Welcome back. Let's now listen to some more questions and answers.
Well, this one has been asked by Binoy Vishwam and he has asked this to the Ministry of Health, and he says that whether it is a fact that there is a gradual revival in the number of clinical trials being done in India since it was at an all-time low of 17 clinical trials approved by Drug Controller General of India.
Well, Minister of State for Health Ashwini Kumar Chaubey answered this question, and in great detail he goes on to say gradual increase in number of clinical trial permission may be due to various measures taken to strengthen and streamline the regulation of clinical trials in more predictable and transparent manner. Streamlining and strengthening regulatory provisions is a continuous process. Now, this is done keeping in view the interest of all stakeholders. Various measures taken by government for strengthening the regulatory provisions in respect of clinical trials include amendments in the Drugs and Cosmetic Rules 1945, laying down the procedures to analyze the reports of serious adverse events and payment of compensation in case of trial-related injury or death, conditions for conduct of clinical trials, authority for conducting clinical trial inspections and actions in case of non-compliance, and requirements and guidelines for registration of Ethics Committee.
Member Vijay Sai Reddy asked about the steps being taken by the government to prevent excessive use of urea to protect the soil condition. Listen in.
What steps that are being taken by the government to prevent such excessive use of urea so as to protect the soil conditions and also and also improve the nutrition value of the crops?
Well, the Minister concerned, Rao Inderjeet Singh, informed the House that biofertilizers and other measures to raise production levels have been employed by the Ministry of Agriculture. Let's listen in to the full answer.
That excessive urea is counterproductive. To ensure that the quality of soil does not get degraded, biofertilizers and other methods of raising production have been employed by the Ministry of Agriculture, and through research other methods are also being considered, and I think in future the use of urea will considerably come down and other uses of fertilizer or other fertilizers will be used to enhance production.
Replying to another question by Narendra Jadhav on contract farming, MOS Agriculture Gajendra Singh Shekhawat said that 4 states have started work on the new Contract Farming Act.
How many such state-level contract farming promotion and facilitation authorities have been established so far? And part B, it says the establishment of the ENAM, that is the National Agricultural Market, how many contract farming agreements have been entered into between buyers and sellers over the portal?
तमिलनाडु, उत्तर प्रदेश, उड़ीसा और कर्नाटका, इन 4 राज्यों ने इस दिशा में काम करना प्रारंभ किया है। अभी किसी भी राज्य सरकार ने ऐसा बोर्ड संसूचित किया हो, इसकी सूचना अभी इस 3 महीने में प्राप्त नहीं हुई है। जो पूर्ववर्ती सरकार समय में जो एक्ट बना था, उस एक्ट को 21 राज्यों ने अपने यहाँ पर लागू किया।
Another member, T. Ratnavel, raised the issue of problems being faced by the Indian sugar industry. Ratnavel asked about the steps taken by the government to protect the domestic sugar from cheap import of sugar from the neighbouring countries.
India has imported about 30,000 quintals of sugar from the Pakistan, which is quite cheaper than Indian sugar. This import, if continued, will have a serious repercussion, and Indian sugar industry, which provides lakhs of people employment,
right, thank you,
and helping sugar can grow. Yes, that I would like to know from the Honourable Minister the steps taken to the government to protect the domestic sugar industry from cheap import of sugar from abroad, including Pakistan. Thank you.
Here's the detailed answer given by Union Minister C.R. Chaudhary. Listen in.
और ये बात सही है कि 2017-18 के अंदर हमारे पास में न केवल 316 बल्कि 322 के लगभग 322 लाख टन चीनी का उत्पादन हुआ है। और ये भी सही है, जब उत्पादन कम होता है तो भी चीनी का आयात होता है, निर्यात भी हो रहा है। इसी प्रकार से 30,000 या पाकिस्तान या किसी भी देश से चीनी जो आ रही है देश के अंदर, हर साल 20 लाख टन के आसपास चीनी आयात होती है और 25 से 26 लाख टन हम चीनी का निर्यात भी करते हैं। और जहाँ तक हमारी चीनी का भाव ज़्यादा कम नहीं जाए, और यही क्वेश्चन आपने पूछा था कि काश्तकारों को पैसा मिल जाए, और इसी कारण से ये 5.5 रुपये प्रति क्विंटल के हिसाब से जो दिया गया है पेमेंट करने के लिए, फार्मर्स को पेमेंट करने के लिए।
Member Vijay Pal Tomar asked the government's plan on ethanol blending. Now, ethanol is a byproduct of sugarcane molasses, and ethanol blending is a process of blending ethanol with petrol.
1540 करोड़ रुपया सरकार का खर्च हो रहा है, बफर स्टॉक भी बना रही है 30 लाख मीट्रिक टन के लिए, लेकिन जो 4,500 करोड़ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो गन्ने के रस से बनने वाला एथनॉल है उसके लिए दिया है। मैं जानना चाहूँगा क्या ये गन्ने के रस से जो एथनॉल बनेगा ये पेट्रोल में 10% तक मिलाने की कोई योजना है?
Right.
Minister C.R. Chaudhary informed the House that the centre has set a target of 10% ethanol blending in petrol, but has only achieved 4% blending. Listen in.
जो इथेनॉल जो बनाया जा रहा है वास्तव में ये पेट्रोल में मिक्स करने के लिए किया जा रहा है, और 10% तक करने का इरादा अभी हमारा 4% तक पहुंच पाया है। इस कारण से इथेनॉल जो है बनाने की परमिशन, पहले इथेनॉल मेगा जो है 6 मली यानी उसका था, और उसके बाद में हमने सी और बी कैटेगरी के दोनों जो है मेलेसिस उसको काम में ले रहे हैं, और उनकी परमिशन दे दी गई है।
Right.
Another member, Ram Gopal Yadav, also questioned the need to import sugar when the surplus sugar is produced in the country.
चीनी यहाँ सरप्लस है, सरप्लस होने की बाद भी इंपोर्ट किया गया, जिसकी वजह से जो मिल हैं उनकी भी स्थिति खराब हुई, और किसानों का जो लगभग 22,000 करोड़ रुपया बकाया है वो मिल अदा नहीं कर सके। मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि जब पर्याप्त मात्रा में चीनी यहाँ है उपलब्ध तो इंपोर्ट क्यों कराई जाती है, और उस इंपोर्ट कराए जाने की वजह से जो किसानों को पैसा नहीं मिल पा रहा है, मिलों की हालत ख़राब हो गई है, उसको सुधारने के लिए आप क्या काम करेंगे?
Union Minister C.R. Chaudhary informed the House that sugar production declined in the year 2016-17.
कि 2016-17 के अंदर हमारा प्रोडक्शन काफ़ी कम हुआ। दैट वाज ओनली 202 पॉइंट समथिंग, 202 लाख टन हुआ। वाइल इससे पहले जो था वो करीब 2-2.5 लाख टन के आसपास था। पहले उससे 2.85 भी था, अभी बढ़ा 3.22 हो गया, 322 लाख टन हो गया। तो ये वेरिएशन आ रहा है प्रोडक्शन के अंदर, और जब प्रोडक्शन कम होता तो निश्चित रूप से गवर्नमेंट इस बात को चिंता करती है। जब चीनी के भाव यदि 40 रुपये को क्रॉस करने लग जाते हैं, देन वी हैव टू इम्पोर्ट द शुगर फ्रॉम अदर कंट्रीज, ताकि चीनी के भाव स्थिर रहें।
Replying to the same supplementary, Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution Minister Ramvilas Paswan informed the House that to enable farmers to clear their cane dues, the centre has extended assistance of 5.50 rupees per quintal of cane crushed, amounting to about 1,540 crore.
22 लाख टन हमारा पैदावार हुआ है, 40 लाख टन जो है कैरी फॉरवर्ड है, उसमें से 30 लाख टन हम बफर स्टॉक के लिए रख रहे हैं। 20 लाख टन जो है हमने कहा है कि एक्सपोर्ट करने का काम करो, और उसके बावजूद भी हम फिर नवंबर 2 महीने के लिए रखना पड़ता है 20 लाख टन के हिसाब से। तो कुल मिलाकर के उसके बाद भी 12 लाख टन क्या कहते हैं बचता है। आपने जो कहा है, हम लोगों के पास में एक ही हथियार है कि हम क्या कहते हैं कि जो इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी है, वो इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी क्या कहते हैं कि मैक्सिमम कर सकते हैं। तो इम्पोर्ट ड्यूटी 50% था, अब 50% से बढ़ा करके हम लोगों ने 100% क्या कहते हैं कर दिया है। और जो एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी क्या कहते हैं कि था, वो एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी 20% था, उसको रिलैक्सेशन करके 0% कर दिया। अब उसके बावजूद भी मान लेते हैं कोई हम कंट्री वाइज तो नहीं चलते हैं कि हम एक कानून क्या कहते हैं कि एक कंट्री के लिए एक बनाएंगे, पाकिस्तान के लिए दूसरा बनाएंगे। तो जो हमने रिलैक्सेशन दिया है 100% दिया है, और सरकार तो इम्पोर्ट नहीं कर रही है, ये ओपन मार्केट है। तो उस मामले में सरकार के द्वारा मार्केट में रिलीज हो कितना चीनी, बफर स्टॉक बनाने का काम हो, जिससे कि किसान को पैसा मिले। और किसान को पैसा तभी मिलता है जबकि मिल मालिक घाटे में नहीं चलता है। तो हम मिल मालिक को घाटे में रहने देना नहीं चाहते हैं।
Another member questioned the government whether it is a fact that it has made it mandatory for all PSUs and contractors to regularly pay a certain percentage of their budget to the corporate social responsibility dues.
Here's an elaborate answer given by the government, and the government goes on to say that every company having net worth of 500 crore rupees or more, or turnover of 1,000 crore rupees or more, or net profit of 5 crore rupees or more during the immediately preceding financial year shall be liable to spend at least 2% of the average net profits of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years on corporate social responsibility activities in areas or subjects specified in Schedule 7 of the Companies Act 2013. Every such company will have a CSR committee which will formulate and recommend to the board a CSR policy which shall indicate the activities to be undertaken by the company, recommend the amount of expenditure to be incurred on such activities, and monitor the CSR policy from time to time.
Well, Kriti, these are the questions and answers we have for our viewers in this week.
Well, lots more in the next edition next week. Stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.